We could go. I love this fucking clip of Sam Kinison ranting about the Vietnam War, but maybe everyone doesn't. It's from Back to School, where Rodney Dangerfield is like a tycoon millionaire, and he goes back to school for some reason I don't remember. And the question comes up in class like, why did we lose the Vietnam War or something like that? And he just blows a fucking gasket and just starts screaming as is it. Let's watch this. Let's start at 30 seconds. I love it.
Okay.
I've seen this 1,000 times.
I'll need a second.
And for those who don't know, Sam Kinison was a huge comedian at this time. He used to be a preacher. They turned him this really dirty, manic, screaming comic who was like known for just being a real wild man, lots of drug use and stuff.
His I know like Joe Rogan's like a huge fan. A lot of comedians like Kinison. He stresses me out. Like,
yeah, I'm the
listening
same
to
way.
his comedy, and he's screaming the whole goddamn time, and that is come, and then he'll tamp it back, but it's never like tamping it back enough. It'd be like if a scary movie had a jump scare every 6 seconds, where they
he screams.
Whoa.
He goes on these rants. He's real high energy. He has no Jeb Bush. I think he was just doing a lot of coke. I think that was really it, because I'm pretty sure that's what killed him as well.
I'm ready.
Yeah, anytime.
Ready, set, play.
First class, I did good, huh?
I just think you better cool it with Dr. Barbet.
Dr. Bubba, he don't know dick. He really tells it like it ain't.
Yeah, well, you know what he knows how to do? Flunk you.
Flunk me, flunk him.
Great attitude. Look, do you at least know what your next class is?
Contemporary American History, Professor Turgis.
Burgesson?
Yeah. Well, you know him? Is he good?
Well, he's really committed. In fact, I think he was. Just keep your head down, keep your mouth shut. You should be all right. Well, I'll see you in English.
All right.
Welcome to Contemporary American History. I'm Professor Turgison. You know, a lot of people think history is just facts. It's just information about the past. But not me. I mean, I hold history very sacred. Sacred. The way the farmer looks at the earth and he holds it sacred. The way a Christian takes the Bible and he holds it sacred. The way a lot of people hold their marriage sacred. So I feel why don't we dive right in by interpreting one of the easiest events in the last 20 years of American history. Now, can someone tell me why in 1975 we pulled our troops out of Vietnam?
The failure of Vietnamization to win popular support caused an ongoing erosion of confidence in the various American but illegal Saigon regimes.
Our girl's crying.
Is she right? Because I know that's the popular version of what went on there. I know a lot of people like to believe that.
So upset.
I wish I could, but I was there. I wasn't here in the classroom, hoping I was right, thinking about it. I was up to my knees in rice paddies with guns and Edwards going up against Charlie, slugging it out with these bum pussies like you.
This is the most 80s looking room.
Putting headbands on, doing drugs, listen to the goddamn Beatle albums.
Yeah.
Hey, Professor, take it easy, will you? I mean, these kids, they were in grade school at the time. And me, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
Well, I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper. But since you want to help, maybe you can help me, okay?
I'm looking forward to
We had
this.
about 30 years ago called that Korean conflict,
Yeah.
where we failed to
like the
achieve
way you
victory.
think.
How come we didn't cross
Nobody
the
watching
38th
you.
parallel and push those rice eaters back into the Great Wall of China and take the Berkeley Brick and nuke them back into the fucking Stone Age River? How come? Tell me why? Say it! Say it!
Seems to care.
All right? I'll say it. Because
Man,
Truman was too much of a
that
pussy whip.
seems like a
He
funny
let the
movie.
cops
I've never
go in
seen
there
that.
and blow
Yeah,
out
that's a
those
really good
fucking
one. If you like Rodney
bastards.
Dangerfield, you'll like that.
I think Dangerfield was hilarious, right? He died a while back.
Yeah,
right?
he's been dead for a long time. He looked like he was dead when he was in his prime. Fucking guy, like, where did he start? Like, it was like he
started
came
so-
out of the womb and was 50.
Good
Like, I don't know what a young Rodney
seems to
Dangerfield
care.
looks like. He always looked old and really ugly. Really,
It's
really
'cause
rough.
he didn't start his career as a comedian until he was like 50 or something. I
No,
don't
there you
think.
Interesting. Those old school comedians had it easy. Like, correct me if you guys know differently, but I'm told back in the day, like, comedians would come up with jokes and they would just do that routine for their entire career. You know, they didn't have to come up like now. You'd come up with a whole new routine every single year. Like, you can't use last year's jokes this year. But back in like the Dangerfield days or even before him, people just do same jokes for like 15 years in a row.
Well, with no internet, it was way easier to recycle those bits, probably.
Well, he's
And
just
also,
trying to get
the
that
whole,
joke to a
like,
new person.
The whole Louis C.K. like do a new special every year. I hope that they move away from that trend, like the comedians do, because ever since Louis started doing that, his specials have become not good. Like I watch
Not
his
everybody
specials
could do that.
wanting to like them, and his last couple have just been not funny. Like the one where he's standing on the circle and it's revolving. It's just
the idea of doing a special every year is kind of ridiculous anyway. If you think about it, their first special is going to be like an amalgamation of their whole life, pretty much, right? It's like everything that it's a 30-year-old comedian. This is my first special. This is 30 years of me saving up, and now you're telling me that, oh yeah, good one, good job, but in 2018 we need all new shit. So like in the next year, I'm going to get enough life experiences and then simultaneously write jokes about them to fill a special next year.
But
it just doesn't make sense.
I'm not interested in hearing the same joke twice. I will agree. It's really hard to be good for a long time, right? One, because like you said, your first special gets to be 30 years of experience. Your second special is the most recent year. You lose it. Two, this popularity bell curve, just like TV shows, just like YouTube channels. When the guy is new and fresh, you're just so in love. And then whatever. Right? If Louis C.K. could do a special as good as one 3 years ago tomorrow, and to me, it's like, oh, I guess. But there's this new guy over here who's so bright and shiny. I like him more.
I don't know. If you look at like Eddie Murphy specials, all of those are good. If you look at Rock, his specials are great, and each one is different. Like each one is a different thing. Chris Rock. It's not. It's not what I said. It's not like his first special was an amalgam. Jokes from his first 20 years of life, and then his second one was. It was like the first one was about some shit. And the second was about some other shit, like he's hitting race topics and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I really like Chris Rock. I think he's about to do some new stuff. He went through a divorce last year. He had been married for a really, really long time. And I think he's one of those guys who like had never been single and rich and famous simultaneously. So like I've heard that like he's gotten into Leonardo DiCaprio's little crew of people, like those guys who just ride around and like the Baltic on a big ass yacht with like
never married
supermodels.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm a nice guy. I want him to be happy and etc. But if Bill Burr gets divorced, we're gonna get some of the best comedic material that's ever been known. Oh my god!
I want worse than divorce. I want tragedy.
No.
I want it to be bad. I want bad because he's got a kid too, and I've said this to Chiz before. He's like, "Oh, he's got a kid though. They're not getting divorced." I'm like, "Kid dies too." He loses them
Jesus
both.
Christ.
Like both of them. Like we need some crazy shit to go down.
Put him on the train track.
No, she just needs to cheat. I swear, if she cheats, Bill Burr will go so funny.
It's one of those things where like you don't like I mean, really good comedy seems to come from tragedy. Like all the comedians, like it seems like every comedian out there who has like their funniest bit is like, man, I was such a fucking loser in my early 20s, or I just doing this and that, and I'm so pathetic. And it's like you're just indulging your own self-hate in a way. Like I really hope that he and Nia work out, and I hope that they all are happy there. But if something ever did happen, that kind of tragedy is going to lead to like a George Carlin kind of special. George Carlin was married, right? Or was he? Did he get divorced? I don't even know.
I don't know anything about his personal life. In my mind, he's not even like a person. God, he's so funny. I love those. I love listening to his stuff because it's almost philosophical. It really is philosophical. It's a mixture of both. There's as much philosophy mixed into a George Carlin special as there is jokes.
Yeah.
And
he got way too much like look at how fast I can talk and way less like I'm making jokes. Like.
I
don't remember which
Carlin,
special that was.
But I feel like he's overrated. People are going to hate hearing that. But
I'm a big fan.
When I look back at his stuff, like I didn't like the central thesis of everybody but me is stupid. And it seemed like all of his jokes revolved around this notion like, this is my stuff, but it's your shit. Ever notice that? I'm so smart and my things are good. And oh my God, everyone's so dumb for not lining up with me politically. Everyone's so dumb for not realizing the things I realize. And after a while, I'm just like, dude, like, get over yourself. Like,
I like it. See, that's the funny part to me. It's like, hey, do you ever consider? We all know what a flamethrower is, right? But do you ever consider what has to happen for someone to invent the flamethrower? You got to see some people over there and think, I'd like to burn them alive, but I don't want to go over there just now. Like this whole bit about the flamethrower cracks me up. And it's not just.
He is like, I don't think he's overrated, but you have to appreciate him the same way. Like you appreciate Muhammad Ali or something where it's like they really got to new places, or a guy like Richard Pryor, like he's just as good as an example as Carlin. Like I don't think Pryor's stand-up is really funny because I wasn't around back then. I don't understand all the cultural references and whatnot, and it's not as shocking and like holy shit as comedy now. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't like an excellent, one of the best stand-up comedians. It just is a different era of comedy. Kinda. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make any sense.